Tales from the Tavern was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Tales from the Tavern is my favorite stream on Twitch.
We are back for another week with Tales from the Tavern. I hope you all are doing well and that you had a great week. We have some familiar faces, mostly familiar faces. One who was here just a whole week ago. I liked him so much I couldn't kick him out of the chat. So, you know, that's how that worked. But what I would like to start off with is going around and giving everyone a chance to introduce themselves. Tell us a little about who you are and what you're up to these days, and anything that you have that you would like to share. And then we'll talk a little about how the stream works if you're here for the first time. So, Gareth, we're going to start with you.
All right. Hi, I'm Gareth Redmar. You can find me on both Twitter and Twitch as just Gareth Redmar. I usually paint miniatures on my stream every Monday and Wednesday, but also I have been DMing real life since about the early 2000s, so the early days of 3rd edition.
Nice. I started with 3.5, so yeah, right around there. Awesome. Yep. Well, it's great to have you here. This is the first time I've really gotten to meet you, so this is awesome.
Yeah.
Tom, how are you?
Hey, good, Luna. Nice to be back. My name is Tom, aka Midwest Miniature Guy. You can pretty much Google Midwest Miniature Guy and find me on just about any social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Discord, what have you, YouTube, and all that fun stuff. I am also on Twitch as well. In fact, I'll be on right after Luna, and I'm going to be painting up the Kingdom Death Dragon King. So that's what I'm up to right now.
Now hold it up and show everybody, because
okay.
We just all got to see it. It was very cool.
All right, here it is. Ooh, the Dragon King.
I love it. So cool.
So
awesome. Well, thanks for coming back, even after you hung out doing that one shot last weekend. That was.
Oh, fun. That was a blast. I had so much fun, and anytime you want to do that again, let's go.
Yeah, if you missed it, it was the murder mystery at Baldur's Gate. The VOD's available here and on YouTube, so definitely check that out. Staying up extra late for us tonight, Tal.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm Tal Woodblaze. You can find me mostly on Twitter at The Gamer's Rest. I'm a freelance writer of RPGs, mainly D&D, but a bit of Monster of the Week and a few others as well. At the moment, I've just started my monthly subscription over on my Ko-fi store, so just a couple of quid, and it's adventures, items, all the good kind of stuff. So that's what I'm up to at the moment.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out and staying up
pleasure.
late. And if we're really, really quiet, maybe we'll get to hear the dogs a little later.
No. They've gone to sleep.
Okay.
There'll be no repeat of last time.
The last time Tal was here, his dogs went nuts in the second half of the show. It was very funny.
Honestly. And chat was just like, are they okay? It's like, no, they're fine. They're just fine. Really noisy dogs.
It was good. Zadkiel, nice to have you back.
Hi, hello, yes, my name is Zad. You can find me on Twitter at ZadKeelingGreen, and also over on the Telluride podcast where I play Jacqueline Blackjack Blanchard. Telluride is a little space western played in the Orbital Blues system, so it's a bunch of very sad people being out in space,
So good.
doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
So
season
good.
1's in the can. Yeah, season 1's in the can, and we just started recording season 2. 3 episodes are recorded for that, and boy, season 2 is going to be a lot.
I'm very excited. It's I'm anxiously waiting for it to drop. I'm all caught up on all the rest of my podcasts, so get on it.
I mean, you got to talk to Rabbit about it.
That's
I just
true.
show up for the
I'll
recording.
have him back on and yell at him. Well, it's good to have you back, Zad. It's always nice to see you. And David, you're still here.
I never left.
I know. We just left you hanging out here in the Twitch void.
Just left me here. It was in the Twitch void. It's been very cold. My name is David Hallman. I also go by Staghorn. You can find me on Twitter at stag_horn or GBQ Pod. I am also the Fungin Master for the Good Better Quest podcast. Season 4, we're going to start recording soon, I hope. It's all very up in the air right now. Just everybody's real busy. But yeah, I also stream on Twitch at stag_horn. I'm either playing games or painting minis, and 9 times out of 10 the minis are ridiculous.
Now we had Tom show off a mini. You need to show us what you've been working on.
Y'all already saw it. This is
Chat is not ready for this.
Chat's not ready for the Banana Man.
So cool.
I printed 2 of these, and I gave one to a doctor who's been putting. You know what? This is a much longer story than is really. Now that I think about it, but yeah.
And there was a bear that you were working on.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. There's a bear with orcas.
Orcas
killer
for
whales
arms.
for arms.
Yep.
Yeah. Just yeah. My brother-in-law sold me his old 3D printer, and I want to make him regret it.
I was gonna say, boy, that was a mistake.
Yeah, it was the greatest mistake he ever made.
And the rest of us are reaping the benefits. I love it.
Yes.
So good. Well, thank you all for coming on and hanging out tonight. If you are in chat and this is the first time that you are joining us, let me tell you a little about how the stream works. So everything that we talk about comes from questions from chat. So feel free to drop your questions for our panel right into chat. I have a moderator who will make sure that we get those questions. So, we will, if we don't get to your question right away, trust that it is in the queue. We will get to it as soon as we can. We have the Ask My Question next for 1,000 channel points. If you've been around for a little while and you've got some channel points racked up, you can use that feature. That will bump your question to the next one in the queue. So if you want to make sure that we get a chance to ask your question, you can definitely go ahead and use that. So if you have any questions, feel free to just start dropping those into chat. But in the meantime, we haven't had any questions come in yet. So I am going to start with my personal favorite question. And that would be, when you are playing at a physical table with physical dice, do your dice have to match?
Mine have been lately. As Luna knows, my wife actually got me a whole new set of dice for last Saturday's game, so that's what I used, and they rolled pretty good against some of you folks. So yeah, I guess lately, if I'm playing in my Vikings campaign, I'm using Viking dice. If we're playing D&D, I'm finding some kind of, weird dice. And lately they've been like match sets. So yeah, lately, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be strange to not have the same dice, unless a particular dice meant something to you and you'd kind of carry it through. I think it's very strange not to have the same kind of style dice normally. Yeah.
You'd be surprised how
Generally-
divisive this question can be.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Generally,
I would definitely want to use the same set, yeah.
I may use the same few dice for the characters, or like when I was playing a necromancer, I would use the same D20 and like D8 for like attack and damage at the same time. But otherwise, no. Like I have some dice that are my favorites, but do they match? Not at all.
You're
But
just
they
so
always seem to
chaotic.
roll good, so I just go with that. So
That does not surprise me about you that you've got just a chaotic approach to dice.
well, I mean, look at my work desk next to me too. So pretty
We
chaotic.
inevitably always end up with a guest now and then who's just like, yeah, these are my dice, and they like hold up a box and everything's mixed together, and I'm like, oh my god, how do you function?
Very well, actually.
I have some that match and some that don't, and it depends on who is serving me well.
Aha.
I have one.
100% that.
Yeah, there's for the most part the set I use at a table mostly matches, but the D20 is, because it was a gift from actually one of my players, is different. It's huge and shiny, and it's you could bludgeon someone with it.
I just not too long ago got a set that came with my first ever chonky D20,
Ooh,
and I was
yeah.
so excited. I haven't had an excuse to use it yet, though, so you know.
Yeah.
I still have a
think
couple of the D20s that light up whenever you roll the 20.
Oh god,
Yeah.
the battery on
Man,
mine finally went, and I miss it
thank geek.
greatly.
Yeah, think geek, man. Yeah, oh, I miss
Geek,
it.
man.
I think last time I was on, I didn't have all of my dice within like hand distance, but this is my big bag of loner dice that I never touch because I never play with other people physically anymore. And then this is just roll down here. This is the same set that this is my set. It's a double set with an extra like 2 matching D20s.
Yeah.
This is the only set that I will use if I have access to it. And then since currently Orbital Blues is all in all D6, I have the 2 D6s from those 2 sets, plus this one that I just randomly, shit you not, found in an alleyway. Just like, well,
Is it weighted for craps?
Yeah,
They wasn't covered in blood or anything like that.
That-
It wasn't got like.
it was
yeah,
okay.
I gotta
This is
tell you
the-
that's sketch as hell.
Oh, yeah.
It was the alleyway behind my apartment building, which not too terribly sketchy, but then also
Took it out of a
Go
dead
ahead. No,
man's
go ahead.
hand.
oh yeah.
You know, I was just walking. I happened to find a switchblade, just like in the alley. And it's like, you know,
Right
it's a
there.
pocket knife. You know, it's good. It's useful. I whittle with it.
I have
But yeah.
serious questions, and none of them are appropriate for this stream.
No, I'm just like, yeah, you know, I found a dice. It's not cursed or anything.
No.
yeah. So Zad, when you roll it, do you sing "Luck Be a Lady"? I'm just wondering.
I mean, I should. It might give me a little bit. Hey, maybe things in Orbital Blues would get a little bit less sad if
There
it
you
would
go.
continue to roll better. Because as it is, again, season 3 is gonna be nuts. But yeah, and then just the only reason that I have this odd one die in, it's actually from my wife's set, which is the only reason that it's allowed to be in with the other dice. But Orbital Blues, in a very rare, limited instances, will allow you to roll 4d6, which means that I need to always have 4d6 on hand. So that's my dice situation.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows this about me now, but I am like, all of my dice have to match. If one of them rolls poorly, I have to get rid of the whole set and start with a different set, and none of my dice are kept in the same container. Like, at all. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sets of various kinds sitting on my desk right now, and none of them
Oh,
are
that's
in the
cute.
same container.
And actually, I just saw, I have my loaner bag, you know, the Crown Royal bag
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
of dice mixed together. I don't know, my other bag is somewhere else, but it's just as similar. Everything's in here together. They're all touching.
Yeah.
No! Can't do that! Oh my god!
Yeah. All of mine are all touch. I have one
set
set
up.
of matching dice in this salt thing.
I
Of
even have a
the-
good
I
turkey
should
dinner.
say, of the,
it's unbelievable.
Of the 11 sets sitting on my desk, three of them 3 of them are just sets of D6s. But like at least 9 D6s. This one is a set of a lot. But they glow in the dark, so it's cool. There's 12 of them. I actually got those. I got them at PAX for playing 10 Candles, which I haven't done yet. But you need to have 2 sets of D6s for those. Like you need to have at least 10, and the blue ones are the Hope dice, and then I have a black set that I got that is for everything else. So, yeah.
Also, to answer a question from the chat, as was foretold, that was stolen very specifically from Burge, one of the dining halls at Iowa. I needed something to like pour salsa into, and I was a freshman or perhaps sophomore, so I have that. I still have an old salad plate, also from Burge. I do think that I returned the forks and spoon that I stole, though.
So that's dice you found. That's plates.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that fan back there?
Right?
Everything in the background is stolen or acquired.
I don't know where the fan came from. That's an excellent
I'm
question.
starting to think that Zad is actually a Kender in disguise. They
gosh.
just find things.
Magically, it just sort of accumulates,
Yeah.
Nobody else is using it.
Here.
Yeah, it was just there. Never mind, it was on someone else's countertop.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Okay. So we've got a couple of questions that have come in from chat. So the next one that we have is actually related to the question that we were just answering. So as was foretold, would like to know, do you ever match your dice to your character?
Yes.
Yep.
Once.
Yeah, I currently have a set specifically for King Thorbjorn Gullikson, my Viking character. And it's all Viking runes and stuff all over it.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
I had one set that was specifically for a dwarven character that had dwarven runes on it. If I'm playing a ranger, I tend to go with like the green dye or something like that. And anything else, I mean, most of the time I tend to play rogues or rangers, so it's either going to be blacks or dark blues or greens.
As of yet, but I did see. So I've got a Dragonborn cleric of Tempest, and I've seen some really beautiful kind of bronze, silvery ones, and I keep looking at the price and thinking, well, how do I justify this? And I haven't been able to yet, but yeah, there is definitely a set that would match him perfectly. So if I could, I would.
I have a set that I would like to get for a character that I have never even come up with yet. If I were ever to play a bard, Level Up Dice makes metal dice that jingle.
Oh.
Nice.
But I can't justify $175 dice, so
Ooh.
yeah.
Yours isn't so
not-
now, is it, Tal?
Not until you make the character.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate business expense, isn't it?
Yeah,
Once
right.
you've made the character.
It's only a business expense if I get to stream the game.
Yeah.
The perfect excuse there.
There you go.
I bought a matching set once for a character. It was playing my bard Falco Braverman, who was always wore a lot of green and purple, and so it was just purple dice. And then just after that, I was like, I can't keep doing that. That's expensive.
Yeah.
My wife is the dice hoarder. She is the dragon queen of dice. She has 2 literal pirate chests full of dice that she has gotten. I think at one point in time, I mean, she had made it onto, this is a few years ago and it was still around, but Gygax magazine on their Facebook page, she was featured because she had like 2,500 dice that she had laid out.
God.
And I think she's up to 5,000 now. because she just keeps buying sets, you know, and she'll go, oh, I like this set, and she'll buy it and, you know, put it in her chest. So I'm the mini, she's the dice lady.
I get a new set every time I go to PAX, and periodically in between PAXs.
Damn.
Yeah, for a while there, whenever I went to conventions, I would just get a set of dice just to commemorate that convention.
Mhm.
And it's been a while since I've been to some conventions, and now I just buy minis or paint sets now to commemorate conventions. So
I bought a lot of dice at PAX this year, but I think it must have been to make up for last year because I bought those 2 sets of D6s, plus I bought myself a regular polyhedral set, plus I bought another set that was a gift. So, yeah, I was making up for lost time, I think.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
All right, let's see. So Peachy Keen would like to know, who was your favorite character to roll and why?
To roll as in like
Yeah,
like
so
play as.
yeah,
Sure.
so to create or
Peachy
to
Keen,
play.
if you want to clarify that, I can actually, while we get a clarification on that, I can actually literally answer this question because once I played Zweihander, and you actually do roll up every detail about your character. And I ended up with a ogre. She was an ogre? I think she was an ogre. She was like 6'8", wore high heels. I mean, it was like the weirdest character ever. I was like, thank God I'm not actually playing this for anything important, because I would never, ever, ever be able to. Yeah.
Looks like she clarified to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez. It's normally, for me, it's normally the character that I'm playing currently. Not that I don't love my old, like, my favorite character was my very first character. That was my half-elf thief. Back when I was first started playing, that was early 90s for 2nd edition D&D. And he was a ton of fun. In fact, I've brought him forward into 5th Ed as an NPC now for the characters that I'm DMing for. So, currently right now I'm playing Walker Tabaxi Ranger in my yeah he's very punny. He has kind of like the Doc Holliday Tombstone-esque Southern drawl.
Ooh, yeah.
Southern gentleman, right? And it's 3.5 edition, and even though he's a ranger, he actually uses the gunpowder. He's found a way how to manufacture it, and has had help creating different gunpowder weapons. So currently, his rifle is Poker Face, his pistol is Bad Romance, and his short sword is Edge of Glory.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's really good.
That makes me so happy.
Well, one of my favorites was from back in when I was playing Shadowrun. And I actually made a troll street samurai, just named him Fok, because his intelligence, his wisdom, and his charisma were all 1 dice. And then I modded him out to where, okay, how many of you guys have actually played Shadowrun? Not okay. So normal soak dice is about 6, with armor and body and everything. I got it to where I was rolling 30 dice to soak damage.
Wow.
Yeah. I almost had no soul left because it strips away your soul to get these augmentics. But then, oh boy, did I have fun in combat. And then what made it fun too was we had 2 faces in our party. One was mechanically sound. His dice just hated him when it mattered the most. And then we had another that she was mechanically unsound and just did the most incredibly stupidest things. And at one point, my troll had to talk us out of trouble with 1 charisma. And
Ooh.
the DM is just like, you know what? You talked your way out of that just fine. I'm just going to let this go. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. And also he was the bodyguard for the Decker when he was hacking into nodes. I would just be sitting there with him. And the joke was we would always find the local crab shack. And I would just be sitting there with like a KFC-sized bucket of crab legs. Just eating them, not even cracking the shells. Just and everyone would just see the Decker just like passed out like that because he's in the new sphere. I was just sitting next to him eating crab legs without even cracking them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thoroughly Shadowrun experience.
No,
I've talked about Staghorn before, so I'll bring up another one that I really enjoyed playing. I played an Acquisitions Incorporated D&D game. You know, they put out that campaign, and if you don't know, it's basically like, imagine if Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, was a company. And so we were a franchise, and I made a Warforged who was essentially Baymax from Big Hero 6. And he was a mix of Baymax, Bender, and Hav Hogan from TWRP. And his name was Xerox. And he was one of my favorite characters to play just because he was like I think we determined like a 9-year-old boy in the soul of this, you know, giant robot guy. And it was just always, hello, I'm Xerox. It's nice to meet you. You know, just
Aww.
he was so fun to play, and at times very bloodthirsty. But I have some drawings of him still. My desktop is actually a painting a friend of mine did of him.
Aw, that's
He
cool.
was so fun.
I think so. One of the funniest ones that I played, we did a one shot, and I played as an Elven Barbarian who was just very over the top excitable about everything. I'd never played a Barbarian before, and when I started her up, I didn't put anything into strength. And so I was like, right, how am I going to do this? And within the first kind of 10 minutes, we got into this fight, and we're in these treetops. And basically, I'd managed to jump over a giant parrot that was attacking us, and I suplexed a bear off the top of the treetops. And I was like, this is the best character ever. So good. Just the roles were just fantastic, and just being able to be someone that was just like so over the top and so enthusiastic, and not have to worry too much about the kind of consequences because it was just a one shot. It was just really liberating because it was just like, hi, all the way through it. And yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed, you know, just creating something which was just fun. And I just think sometimes forget about that when you're creating these big campaigns. Sometimes it's just nice to do somebody who's just ridiculous, just to have some fun with. Yeah.
Like, oh gosh. Well, it had to have been 11, 12 years ago. I was playing in a game where I had made a character that was based on my daughter at the time, who was like 2 and 3 when we were playing. So basically, whatever shenanigans she got into during the week, that's what happened with my character that weekend. So that was a lot of fun. It was, you know, I mean, it was just because the character was a Kender. And so, you know, I mean, it was very easy to make it like the equivalent of a 2 or a 3-year-old because that's kind of what they're like. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was, I don't really remember anything about the campaign, but I remember the character being a lot of fun. Yeah,
I think for me, like I've definitely, at this point, I've built and played so many different characters. It's like, don't make me choose between my babies.
Yeah.
And I did. Like, I know I pretty sure, or at the very least, I've told the story of the character that I just decided to steal the name off of after I came out enough times. So I think just to kind of bridge that gap between characters that were the funnest to make as well as to play, I was reading through, this was right after I had started playing. I had done maybe like 2 sessions of 5e and was looking through the Wild Magic table on for 5th edition, and was like, oh, hey, you get to number like 98, and it's just like, hey, if you hit 0 within the next minute, then you reincarnate in a new body. And I'm like, that's the character. So it turned out to be the first queer character that I played, the first explicitly queer character that I played. Just the first, it was like, well, they've been through so many bodies. They've probably been both in male and female bodies, and so many different things over the course of what has to have been a fairly long life of constantly reincarnating into new bodies. And so just turned into this, like, kind of, like manic, very sweet, not like drag house mom, but more like manic drag house grandmother. Just extremely kind, but also very, just very outgoing, a very big personality. And that was Pat Pearson, the wild magic sorcerer who I came to find out was terrible at combat because I didn't pick any of those spells, but just like great roleplay, and a very good hook. So
That's awesome. All right, let's see. Synthetic 20 would like to know, here's a controversial question. What is your favorite dice material? Metal, polymer, resin, wood? What's your poison?
Anything but wood. Any. What? Why would you use wooden die?
I'm pretty sure in good conscience I could never actually roll anything that was made of a semi-precious gem.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually
I'm
just
pretty okay with whatever Chess X makes, so.
Yeah.
yeah. I have a few metal D20s, and it just sounds like thundering boulders coming down the hill. And even in a dice tray, I'm worried I'm going to damage a friend's table when I roll them. So I just tend to not want to roll them. So I just stick
metal
with
dice are scary.
Yeah, when I roll my metal dice, I actually roll on my mouse pad, which is kind of ironic because it's a dragon standing on a pile of dice that says this is how I roll. So
That's great.
Perfect. I've got some stone dice. Unfortunately, my the D4 when I rolled it, it broke the tip off of it, so I don't use those anymore.
Yeah, that's why I would never be able to do that with any kind of gemstone dice. I would never be able to do that for just that reason.
So my favourite dice set is some my daughter bought for me, and they're metal, and there is definitely something about throwing those in the dice tray that kind of the thud is quite dramatic in a certain way. It just don't know. It just feels very right in the hand when you're rolling it. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely metal. I can appreciate all the others as well.
It makes the happy brain chemical.
Yeah, we figured that out last week.
Yeah.
If you missed it last week, high numbers make serotonin go.
Yeah. I forgot.
That's literally what the name of last week's episode is.
Yeah.
Somebody actually went and clipped it, so if you missed it, you can go back and watch that from Ray last week. So that was funny.
Fantastic.
I have a set that I quite enjoy that's a metal set, but I don't play with them very often. But they look kind of gold and blue. You can't really see the blue right now, but they're color changing. They're like mood dice, so they're blue when they're cold and they turn purple when they're hot. So if you hold them in your hand long enough, eventually it'll they'll change from blue to purple. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, they're fun. They're really heavy. But I mean, I guess most metal dice are, but they're really heavy. My
So
other
many
favorite
dice.
set has little tiny seashells in them.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're. You can't really see it in that one. Hold on, let me get the D6. They have little itty bitty little shells.
Ew.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So many dice questions tonight.
I know.
Yeah.
Welcome to Discussion.
Oh man!
You know,
There's the title.
Excellent.
you know,
Why do you do that to me? Now I'm
think
gonna
that's
have
the
to
spin-off
start.
podcast,
I was gonna
isn't
say
it?
now I'm gonna have to make
Yeah.
a spin-off show.
Oh boy.
Different guest each week just comes on and talks about
Talks about
their
dice for an
favourite
hour.
Dice. Yeah.
Man, now I want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. That's a terrible idea. Don't do it. It's a great idea, but I'm still not going to do it.
You will secretly do it.
Okay. I am already going to say pass to this next question because I cannot do it at all. However, this question comes from Ben. And Ben would like it's not really a question. Do a 60-second villain monologue, voice and everything.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I am currently writing that for my next once a month game, so I cannot, in good conscience, do that right now. In case any of my players watch this.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm just scrubbing around for a bit of paper.
But I can say that Camden Callis is a very arrogant necromancer, and he is going to have a lot of fun with my players on July 2nd. So
No.
Come on, Gareth, you got this. You can do this. I believe in you.
I mean, I can't do this from nothing. So Ben.
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah,
I know
Ben.
that you have ways of generating. You have ways of generating villains. Give me something to work with here.
yeah,
Ben, give us a villain.
Be not afraid. Okay.
There's your prompt, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second.
You're good. I'm in the same boat.
The road has been long bringing you here. Bringing you at last to me. So be not afraid. For all journeys they come to an end. And we shall make of it such an end that by the time you are dead and gone, I can carry your stories to many and more. And you will be the instruments of my glory. So be not afraid, for you will not be forgotten. And you will die a glorious death.
Hey, well
Nice.
done.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay. I actually pulled up something from my from something else, so I may not stick with the prompt. Is
That's
that
all
okay?
good.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
All right. I cannot thank you enough for your help, because along the way, you have gathered all the things that I could possibly need. Every step that you have taken has been under my will. And and every step has been with purpose. Glorious purpose. And before long, the world will once again belong to the Spider Queen. So thank you for your help. There's no sense trying to stop it. It's done. I'm not a storybook villain. And your worth is spent. That was trash.
That was so good.
That was not as good as that.
Wow.
Like,
Oh, that was.
I
Great.
thought I had it. And then I lost it.
That's great.
That was so good.
Yeah.
You guys are so good.
Okay.
I'm trying to go through some old notes quick on my phone.
See,
Yeah, right? See,
Chat
that's what
loved
I
it,
was
so
doing.
it's okay, David.
All right.
David.
Okay. All right then. Rejoice, puny mortals of this realm, for I, Praxian, the third devil of hell, have come to free you from this mortal coil. You will all fall beneath my violent blade, and your blood will soak the halls of this place you call home. But do not fear, for once I have finished with you, you will be risen again and serve in my glorious army of the undead. Rejoice, I say, for I have come. Something like that.
So good.
That's an excellent just heel. That's an excellent heel villain promo. Like that is just like I
Yeah.
have the visceral need to just be like, hey, we can take that guy. I don't know if that's 100% correct, but I'm pretty sure we can. Let's go get him.
Damn it, we have to try.
Right? I know.
See how this goes. Vecna is the true undying one. We heed his voice to follow his will. His heart pumps the blood that protects his body. The eye and the hand are subject only to his will. His teeth will smite our foes, and his fingers will pluck them clean. His thoughts and memories will guide his organs to reunite for his undying glory and the final resurrection.
That was good.
Fantastic.
Really good.
Ben says Gareth does my favorite villain voice.
All right. Thank you.
Nice. Very nice. All right, moving right on.
I had a monologue for Strahd somewhere, and I did that more like Gary Oldman when I was running that, but I don't know where the hell that
Oh, that's good though. All right, this is a question that we always get some variation of, and I love it because I always end up learning about new systems this way. So, what is your favorite system outside of what you normally play, or what system have you wanted to play but have not yet? That comes from Vertrox.
Okay. So,
Go ahead, Cal.
Cool, thank you. So just recently, I've started using Caltrop Core, which is a D4 system, and it is designed to be as simple as that. It is literally, there you go, it's a D4, that's it. So you can spec it to kind of like pools of dice, but that is the only dice you use, and it's a bit like kind of Monster of the Week and a few like that. So literally, 1, epic fail. 2, yeah, you still failed. 3, you've got there some confusion around it, and then 4, you succeeded, and that's it. And it is just so freeing to write something just using that as you use it for everything. It's great, and there's some really good. Just recently, there was a game jam for it, and there's some great examples of how people have just kind of molded it into something. You know, you don't need to learn huge great big kind of systems. It is literally, here you go, here's a D4, off you go. That's it. It's fantastic.
I think mine will
called
always
Tabletop
be
Core?
for
Yeah.
favorite outside D&D. I guess I have two. One of them is the Middle Earth role-playing system from Iron Crown Enterprises. Love that game. It's basically kind of an offshoot of Rolemaster, if you've ever played or ever played that. And then my other one is the old Weston Games Star Wars RPG.
I am not currently in a campaign, so everything that I play is different than what I usually play. But some of the ones that I've played in the past that I really enjoyed, the Quest RPG is really good. Very nice, like, rules light system, easy to pick up, especially great if you have like a first time player who's like, I don't know if TTRPGs are my thing, because there's not a lot that you need to learn and remember and, you know, figure out how it works. So yeah, I like that one a lot. Aether and Steamworks is a lot of fun, especially if you like things that are chaotic. If you're a big fan of things like Wild Magic tables, then you're probably gonna love it. And the game that I have yet to try, but I really, really want to, is 10 Candles. I talk about it all the time. I literally have the book all like marked up and everything. I really want to run it. I just haven't gotten around to actually putting it together yet. But it's I know there are people that have done it online, but I feel like it's one that's really meant to be played in person. I don't know who are you guys here. Are you all familiar with it? Have you heard of it before or no?
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything.
So basically, the premise is you play the game for as long as you have the light of 10 tea candles. And as the candles go out throughout the game, it moves. That's what causes your story to progress. So basically, you start out, I don't want to say like things are light and happy, because they're really not. But the story ultimately is going to get darker and darker as your candles start to go out. And it's a game where you go into it knowing that your characters will die. But the whole concept is meant to be one that you can play it in a fantasy setting, you can play it in a modern setting, you can play it really, like, there's the rule, it's a rule set, it's not a setting. So you can make the setting anything that you want. And there's enemies in the game, but the enemies are only referred to as them and they, and that's all you know about them, really. Character creation is all part of the game too, so literally the game starts when you start your character creation, and it goes until your candles all go out. So it just seems really cool, and very different from anything else that I've gotten to play.
On that, there is one that I've always wanted to run, which I kind of came across recently, which is A Quiet Year. And
yeah, I've heard good things about that.
I really, really would love to run that, because it's like a collaborative world building. So you get a year, and throughout it you draw cards, and everybody gets to add bits to it. And I just think it would be such a good thing to do, and then go to people. Here you go. Here's this world we've created. You can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, I'd love to get a group together and kind of play that and have a go at that, definitely.
Yeah, that was actually a show idea that I pitched to Ben like 2 years ago. That is languishing on the queue. But basically, like, episode 1 would be you play A Quiet Year to be like, okay, this is how we established this community. But then, like, episode 2 is then you're playing, I don't know, could be anything really. But, like, you're playing the ground itself, where you're going, okay, so what happened before we came here, or how has this developed in the intervening time? And then, you know, after that, you know, you've got a setting. So every episode, or maybe every couple of episodes, you're playing a different game. And, like, there's a game called The Skeletons that is heavily story focused and about a bunch of skeletons defending a grave, and you build out the grave. And it's like, well, so you've played that game, and now you've got a dungeon underneath your town that you can go and explore using Quest or D&D or whatever. And just like to marry those two, because there's like, you've got those heavy story focused, you've got the more mechanically focused, and if you can find a way to keep the thing that stays the same, and then you're just constantly ripping through these different systems, do a horror story about the shit that the people who are exploring the tomb that was guarded by the skeletons unleashed, do that playing 10 candles. So it's just because every game has a particular kind of story that it's very good at telling. And when you are bouncing between settings, like when you're, a place can hold any kind of story. And just that would be like an absolute dream, is to just roll that where everything's taking place in this town over time. You go major high level, go major low level, play whatever you want, and just have like a rotating cast of people and just, build out a show.
That would be really cool. That would be amazing.
Something like that.
That sounds very cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. A very, very cool way of.
So we're all signed up then. Great. Okay.
Yeah, right. When we start. Be careful when you say stuff like that, because that's how like the Oops All Wizards one shot I did was born.
Yes.
I've recently really been wanting to play Kids on Brooms, which is kind of, from what I ever understand, from what I've seen, is essentially Harry Potter, but J.K. Rowling doesn't get any of the money, which is a win-win for me.
Yeah.
So it just, I have never really realized it, but I'm just a big old nerd for that universe. So to play in a role play setting of something like that, I would really just love to do. You know what? I know what it is. I grew up essentially on a college campus, like 5 minutes from my house, and my dad worked there. So it just, the idea of a magical college is just too fun not to want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars D6 lately, so that's been a good favorite of mine. But another one that sticks out in my head is called Ragnarok, and you don't use dice in it at all. You have a bag of runes, and you build your character around these runes, and then you put the runes in a bag, and you draw the runes, and each of them has a certain special effect. And like in this system too, you'll always hit, but you just determine how hard you hit by what runes you draw. And certain runes mean you shift into, like, I was a werewolf in this too. So it's like, old school Norse Ragnarok happened. It's like during the 500 years of darkness or whatever it is in Norse mythology, and the world is frozen over and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to play, and it was just really cool just feeling like this just badass Viking werewolf character, since I'm a Space Wolf fanatic too for 40k. So I got to harness my inner Space Wolf there and just charge in with an axe and just like killing krakens and giants and all sorts of other fun stuff like that. So it was a really fun system and really unique, and it really just kind of sticks out in my brain all the time too.
Yeah, that sounds like a really interesting one. That'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
David Nicholas says that sounds like the inspiration for Faerun University.
I just replied. It's me growing up, Harry Potter, Name of the Wind, Westworld, a lot of things.
Name of the Wind.
Oh, good.
Fantastic book.
Will you ever finish it?
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Maybe.
It will never. It
Who's
will
gonna
never
finish first,
ever.
George R. R. Martin or Patrick Rothfuss?
There,
If I had to guess, like Martin might finish, he might not, he might croak. You know, he might do a Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
My guess
Okay.
would be that Patrick Rothfuss only finishes the trilogy when he feels like people have kind of like when the heat's died down. So the more pressure people put on him, the more that he feels like you can see. You know, it's in the dedication to the book where he says, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing slowly. And it's never going to be perfect. And he wants it to be perfect. I think that he wants it so badly to be perfect that he needs to just like, he either needs to absolutely blow through it and be like, no, this is just what it is, it's done. Or everybody just needs to shut the fuck up and let the guy write. We need to not talk about the Kingkiller Chronicles for the next 10 years. And if he ever like asks, be like, oh yeah, no, Patrick Rothfuss, you're the guy who was on like what, Critical Miss?
yeah.
You did some work at Backstation Incorporated. We don't know what Kingkiller Chronicles is. Absolutely like zero pressure.
Yeah.
And then he'll finally feel like he could live up to the expectations that no longer exist.
There,
And then we can trash him for it being a bad conclusion to a trilogy because the last book in a trilogy always sucks. But
there is a Twitter account called Patrick Rothfuss that is a guy who has been trying to show an example of what happens when you rush a third book, and just some of the shit he puts in there kills me. Can I read? Do y'all mind if I read one of them?
Go for
Go
it.
right ahead.
Okay, so the dude takes screenshots from Word documents and posts those, and this is one of my favorite ones. Kvothe and Viari stood back to back, swords drawn, just like Fantasy Budapest. Viari goofed. I've never been, said Kvothe. What? Flabbergasted Viari. We went like 2 years ago. Raided that drug ring and wound up in a situation exactly like this. I don't think that was me, Kvothe said. Hold on, yelled Viari as he held up his hands to the crowd of bad guys surrounding him. You seriously don't remember Fantasy Budapest? I could swear it was you, dude. Kvothe shook his head. It couldn't have been me. I was learning how to be a ninja. The 50 or so bad guys kicked the dirt at their feet. Are we gonna keep fighting? The biggest one said. In a fucking minute, Gregory, yelled Viari.
Okay, but in all seriousness, I would read the shit out of that.
That sounds like it reads like the Board of the Rings. You know. I am here for that. Let's
Right?
go.
I feel like that's a really good place to pause for a break.
Sure.
Because how do you follow that?
We don't.
So we're going to pause for a quick break. We will be back shortly. If we have not answered your question yet, I promise we will get to it as soon as we come back from the break. We will see you all in just a few. All right, we are back from break. I hope you all had a good break. Let's see. We're going to dive right back into some of our questions. So the next one that we had came in from the Dimpire, Jim. Jim would like to know if any of you have plans to go back to playing at a physical table.
Already am.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sam sporadically.
Yeah. Once all of our players got vaccinated, yeah, we have a once a week game that I've been playing in now for over 20 years. Every Thursday night they show up at our house, and it doesn't matter what we play. I mean, it could be card games, it could be TTRPGs or whatever. But yeah, once that happened, everybody was like, all right, get off these computers because we're on them all day because most of them are in IT anyway. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, they come down into our basement game room, which is back behind me here. And yeah, we roll dice until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And then once a month, I get together with my once a month group now. We started doing that last year because everybody's, well, again, vaccinated and whatever. And yeah, I go over to my friend Greg's place because he's got a giant table that all of us can fit around. And we normally have. It's kind of funny because Greg likes to host a lot, so he ends up making like this huge dinner. The last time we got together, he made us St. Louis style smoked baby back ribs.
Oh my god, I'm
mashed
coming to play at
potatoes.
your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Greg's
And he was crazy because he went to Costco and thought that he was getting a couple of packages of ribs. He ended up getting like 10 packages of ribs because they were like 4 or 5 in each box or something like that. And he's like, I'm gonna make like a few of these, and then the rest of them I'm gonna have to freeze. So he still has ribs in his freezer that we didn't eat, and he was giving out like to-go boxes of ribs and mashed potatoes.
Right? Like,
So,
tell us when the next one is. Like, we'll all show up. I will
yeah,
even
we'll
bring
go.
containers
July 2nd.
myself.
July 2nd,
show
Brooklyn
up
Park,
in
Minnesota. Is our next, yeah. So yeah, we're getting together. I don't know what he's gonna make for this one, but then everybody else kind of brings their own dish that they like to prepare. So we'll end up getting probably, you know, my friend Molly's famous Rice Krispie treats, and Cora likes to bring her her spiced pretzel sticks, which are awesome. And so yeah, just kind of everybody kind of brings something and lays it out on the table, and we eat, and then we barely make it through gaming. It's but we get together at like 5 o'clock or
Yeah.
something like that, and then have dinner, and then we game until midnight. So
That's the way to do it,
Fun.
man.
I think it's been a little bit different for me because so a couple of years ago I kind of came back into playing D&D and a few others because I hadn't done it for years and years, and I kind of struggle with social anxiety. So kind of being around people, I find it really difficult for me. So I went online and I said, well, has anybody got a game for someone that, you know, is going to find it difficult, but I really want to try and play a game? And that's when I met a couple of amazing people, Claire and Michael, who are some of my favourite people ever. And they were like, yeah, come on. And from that, it kind of grew into this group of us that are situated all around the world. So, you know, I'm the only one in Britain, and then there's Claire and Michael in Scotland, and then we've got kind of America and Canada, and, you know. So the chance of us getting around a table is very, very low, but kind of think being able to play online with them completely changed where I kind of was, because I was able to interact with a group, and I didn't have to have that kind of worry of, you know, actually being in front of people and having them kind of sat on a table. So I would love to reach a point where I could do that, but I'm thankful that I've got the opportunity to kind of play online with people, and you know, it's still not great. I still struggle, but I can't believe how lucky I got in kind of meeting the, you know, amazing people through this. So yeah, definitely feel blessed about that.
My brother and sister-in-law live 2 blocks from my house, and they're the people that we play D&D with. So I have actually been playing with them since since the Panera started. So we we were careful, you know, when everything first started, and then realized we're not going anywhere, we're not seeing anyone but each other. Let's still meet up. So we've still been fortunate enough to still be playing. And in that time, my brother-in-law has gotten one of those fancy gaming tables that I can't remember the name of the company.
Wormwood Gaming.
was it Wormwood?
It wasn't Wormwood. It's Carolina gaming tables. He got Tablezilla.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Just the sound of it sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm
It's-
gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty great tale. So he's gotten that in that time. So it's definitely upgraded. Things got cup holders.
Some of those gaming tables, we were at GaryCon back in March and saw some of the ones there, and I was just like, holy cow! And the one that they had on display, it was going for like 10 grand.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that.
I can't do it. It's really pretty, but yeah, just even trying to get that down in my basement, I'm gonna break my back.
Yeah. Oh well, these people they delivered it. They came. They did what they called the white glove delivery.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, fancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Something else, isn't it?
So similar to you, Tom, we played at a physical table. That was how my whole experience started playing D&D. We played that way until actually it wasn't because of the pandemic that we stopped. It was, just because most of us were parents and life and jobs and all of that stuff. And then we were like, well, we'll take a little bit of a pause. And then the pandemic hit. We were like, well, that was fun. And so then I joined the home game again, but at that point we were still playing virtually, even though we're all fairly local to each other. One couple is, one town away, but they had a baby, and so they were trying to be extra cautious, and which is understandable. Plus, also, when you have a baby in the house, you can mute your microphone and let the baby do its thing, and it's not quite the same as when you have to host a bunch of people over. But we would do something similar to what Tom would do, where it would be, we would rotate through like who was in charge of dinner every week. We were a really small group. There was only like 4 or 5 of us, so we would rotate through who would be responsible for dinner. So I hear Tal's dogs.
It started. Yeah, it started.
It's the second part.
Here we go.
Like clockwork.
That's so funny.
I'm gonna apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. No, it was so funny. So yeah, we would do like, 1 week, somebody might order pizza for everybody. And then the next week, someone would do like a big spaghetti dinner and garlic bread and salad. And, and then the next week we would do like hamburgers and hot dogs or something like that. We did like breakfast for dinner, pancakes, scrambled eggs, bacon, the whole 9 yards. So, a lot of that kind of stuff. And now when, I'll host like a game night or something like that, we usually will just do like, I'll make something, or I'll be in charge, so to speak, of like a main dish, and then other people will bring like, drinks and snacks and stuff like that. And, same kind of thing. It's usually I don't want to say a small group. It's a smaller group, than like other, big events that I, cookouts and whatever. This is usually like 6, 8, maybe 10 people at the most, but yeah, I do miss getting to play, like when I was talking about 10 Candles earlier, that's the type of game that I really feel like I, would need to run at an actual table with people in person.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that. And I feel like, for me personally, playing on the computer is a bigger challenge than playing in person, because I get easily distracted by the internet. So it's a lot easier for me to focus on the game when I'm actually at a table with people.
No, that makes. I thought you were gonna say that it was difficult to play online because just the systems and stuff. But with D&D Beyond, it's never been easier. Never been
Hashtag
easier.
not advertised, not sponsored. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, with all of the not even just that one, but with
Oh no, I'm just goofing.
Yeah.
That's just I never miss a chance to plug them for no money.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. It's fine. But no, I mean, I think you're right that we're lucky that all this technology is out there now, because I think that especially like during the pandemic, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like one of the I hate to say good things about the pandemic or whatever, but like I got a buddy of mine that's out in California, and he's running his group, and again he's got people that are in California, out in the Midwest, in Scotland, and one in like Denmark that are all getting together on like a Saturday morning or something like that. It would be Saturday morning his time, and like Saturday evening Scotland time or whatever. And they're all able to get together and play in his campaign, and he's got it mapped out where he's like, "Yep, here's the beginning of the campaign in 190 sessions. That's when it's done, and we're halfway through right now." And so he's able to map this all out and let the kind of he's running milestone too, so they're leveling up, together and being able to play in this game. We wouldn't have been able to do that 10 years ago. If a pandemic had happened, we would have just been all just stuck in our houses, and then, maybe trying to, text people or, call people on the phone or, do stuff like that. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have, Discord or anything like that. It would have made continuing to play a whole lot harder. I mean, some of us maybe as old. I'll be 47 this year. Some of us will be, we could have gone back to like, play-by-post games or like, stuff like that.
IRC or something like that.
Yeah, type of a thing. Oh, we're playing by email. I think we used to try and do that every once in a while too. And so we might have tried something like that, but it wouldn't have been, oh, we've got this cool table and we can, put the minis on it, or we can put our butt tokens on it or whatever, and continue playing like we were able to do, and like how technology has ramped up basically since that happened. And that's one nice thing about this. I still prefer getting together with people around a table. It's just it's the camaraderie mostly. It's the physical, being around a table together, rolling dice together, sharing stupid Monty Python, quips together, type of a thing, rather, but because of necessity, we had to do that for a year and a half. And honestly, once we finally got back to playing in person, it made those friendships that much stronger, because we had spent that much time away from everybody. And it was like, boy, it's good to see you folks. Let's get back to playing, hugs all around kind of a thing. And then it was this, we were even tighter because we had spent so much time away from each other.
Yeah, and like I'm doing a mix of both online, because again, I'm gaming with Claire and Michael and a whole bunch of other people like in Denmark and Canada, all over the U.S. So again, that's one of those games, slim to no, slim chance. I'm not saying no chance we'll ever all get together, but definitely really not in the cards. But then I started like playing the Star Wars D6 system with some old gaming buddies of mine, and it was just kind of like we didn't miss a beat, and it was just great to see each other. We were grilling out together, like making steaks, or somebody would make a stew or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we just sit around the table, eat, roll dice, BS, laugh at stupid shit, and laugh together when somebody's dice would screw them over, because that's just the best. And I recently moved, and this table behind me is going to be set up over there, and I'm going to try to have people back at my place to game, because I used to be a longtime DM and would run long, like 2-3 year campaigns for people. And I'd love to do that again with some of my friends, and get my girlfriend into that too. So yeah, I definitely want to game in person again. Gaming online is great, but nothing beats sitting around a table with your friends laughing at stupid shit.
Yep. Yeah, I must have rolled really well when it came to my my gamer friends because I married a gamer girl, and so her and I mean, I think that's what hit it off, and her and I actually met online. I lived out in Seattle, she lived out here in Minnesota, and so that's kind of and almost 23 years of marriage now and a kid, who is now 22. Yeah, I'm that old, folks.
21.
So what's that?
I've got a daughter who's 21, so I'm not that far behind you.
Yeah. I know what we're talking about here. Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I have been truly blessed with the people that I play with. Like one of the first times that I was on with Luna, great group of folks, and we were all talking about, were there a lot of pushback if there was a girl in the group or, whatever. And I said, I never had that kind of pushback because I actually had more girls playing in my groups out in Seattle than I did guys. Or it was a good 50-50 mix. And so being able to, my wife and I basically kind of bonded over video games and role-playing games. And that, if anything, that's one thing that we can really agree on, So being able to have that connection with her and then kind of being semi-grandfathered into her game group, which is all guys, and then her, it was kind of cool. 'Cause some of these guys I had only known virtually, and that was through a chat room.
Yeah, I wasn't a gamer at all, actually, until I started dating my now ex-husband. Like, I had played video games, like, a few, but was not an avid gamer, because it just wasn't present when I was growing up. It wasn't something that, my parents really didn't allow it. I didn't know anybody that played D&D. It was just not in my vicinity, really. And then there's a conversation happening in chat right now about like TeamSpeak and Ventrilo and all of those, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember using Ventrilo when I was playing Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, and that was the first game that really like launched me towards being a gamer. And then it wasn't until after my daughter was born that I even started playing D&D. And yeah, I mean, it was never, I think at that point it was like there was no pushback. The table was made up, about a 50-50 split at that point. And it was, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I never really had to deal with it, but I have talked to lots of people who have. So, yeah. All right, let's see what else we have for questions. So, Draconics would like to know, we're switching gears completely. Which character of yours has had the most epic fail of all time?
I do know this exact one. It was my very first one shot I ever played. I decided it was in 3.5, and just for simplicity's sake, I was decided to build Link from Legend of Zelda, because 3.5 allows you to pick entirely too many feats, and going for Whirlwind Slash knocked out a whole like 6 of them. So just limited my options. It was beautiful. So what ended up happening is there was a sort of a quasi-zombie outbreak, something or another. We find ourselves in this mansion where like a huge tentacle monster was popping out of a void in the center, and traversal was a whole thing. We had these 6 different nodes at different points in the house that we had to get the idol to. You had to do it in order, and if you did it in the wrong order, it dropped one of your stats to 1.
Oh,
Oh boy.
We've got at this point we've got the Bard has a dexterity of 1 and is getting drug around by a Naga. The the Amazon has a intelligence of 1, and so she and her panther are just kind of making it work. And the bard has a dominate monster spell. We've been able to knock out 2 or 3 of these nodes. Has a dominate monster spell using the tentacles of the thing that we're trying to stop to move the idol that we need to shut down the power nodes around the mansion more easily. And then at one point, it picks it up from her, and it's supposed to be taking it over to me, and it just doesn't, because it made it save. So I'm thinking like, oh, hey, sick. All right, whatever. Very quickly here, I make a rope out of like sheets and stuff from a linen closet that was right there, and I heroically swing down into the void and have my sword in one hand and the sheets in the other, and I take a swing and I roll for it and I crit. I hit. I got a crit. Best possible outcome. Slash the tentacle straight through. Idol goes flying, and the GM's just like, all right, well, try and catch it. Roll again. And that was the one where I crit failed.
Oh.
And it just goes plummeting. The thing that we need in order to win goes plummeting into the inky blackness below. And then, after that, the GM's just like, well, if you guys want to try and fix this, the guy who caused this whole thing murdered his best friend in order to start the spell. So somebody would need to sacrifice their best friend in order to undo the spell. And everybody else around the table was just like, no, absolutely not. We're going. This town is fucked. Goodbye to everybody here. And I'm playing Link, so I pull out my specifically the one from kind of a Twilight Princess-y feel. So I pull out my little horseshoe-shaped grass flute, and I start playing it because I do have my best friend with me. My best friend being the horse Epona, and yeah.
Oh, he artaxed it.
So I'm about to go playing that, and that's when our Naga fighter just like cold cocks me and throws me on the horse, and it's just like, no, this isn't worth it. Like, screw this town, we're getting out of here. And that could have been the end of it, because I woke up alone on the edge of town. The rest of the crew had gotten away from the zombies; they were elsewhere. And this is the point at which I was like, that's not the end of this, because Link's a hero, and you gotta make the sacrifices. You gotta do the thing. Yeah, Luna, this is where I got addicted to exactly the style of play that I have in
it makes
in
so much
Telluride.
sense now.
Because this was my first experience. Was the session ends with me narrating, just like solo narrating, with the DM, coming back into town, riding past a bunch of zombies that have just stopped moving and instead are just staring at this house that is slowly being ripped apart by tentacles as this elder something or another tries to come from the nether into our realm. And I go back to that point where I was and just take a look at Epona and say, I'm sorry, and I'll see you in the next life. And that was the end of the session.
Oh.
Because I crit failed. I crit failed that second roll to catch the damn idol. And you don't leave the job undone.
Well, that's it. Nobody else has to share a story now that you've just brought the whole episode down. Wow.
All non-stop bummers.
Yeah.
I got a funny one if we want to bring it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Please rescue this.
Come out of this tailspin. This was me playing as Staghorn, actually, and I at the time had a two-handed greatsword, and I rolled about 3 natural ones in this one instance of combat, and on the 4th one, my brother-in-law, my DM, was like, he took pity on me, and he said, you let go of your sword and it impales itself on into the wall, and this guy, not really paying attention, just kind of runs into it. and he's dead now. I was like, cool, thanks. This is the fourth natural one in the whole combat, and I was just like, oh my god. Just, ugh.
I think the one for me is so I'm currently playing as a Dragonborn Tempest cleric. He's quite arrogant and thinks a lot of himself and his skills, to the point where we woke some up who'd been asleep for 1,000 years, and they asked what year it was, and he went, "Oh, it's this year." But some people are calling it Year of Orthica because I'm so amazing that they all know who I am. And we went into this battle where a couple of mages, and one of them cast Charm Person and failed the roll. And I was like, okay, well, he's been secretly writing his own autobiography. And so I said, "Oh, it's fantastic you're here. I wonder if I could go through a few pages of you and get your opinion as to what you think of my writing style." So I spent 5 minutes just going, "Do you think this reads okay?" The DM was just in. She was just like, "What am I supposed to do with this now?" It's great. Just look at, well, you're a good friend. What if you give some pointers on how this reads?
I don't know that I've had a super memorable crit fail. I did play a centaur one time who used to be really bad at going up and down stairs.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I also, it wasn't so much a crit fail as it was just my character being stupid. And ran into a room. Hey, there's a sarcophagus. Also, ironically, my centaur. Hey, there's a sarcophagus in here. None of us are strong enough to open it. Rolled a strength check. Was able to open it. Out pops a vampire who casts Slay Living. And now my centaur is dead. So that was a thing that happened.
Did he keep hitting the centaur? Like, when it fell down, did he keep hitting it?
No, I don't think so.
That's good, because you never want to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hate you so much right now. I was like, this is going somewhere, and I don't want to know where it's going.
There's a punchline coming any second now.
I'm sorry.
You just couldn't resist, could
I
you?
couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Well, one of the better ones that I have a few. One that kept happening to one of my players. He was a paladin, and we were running through Curse of Strahd, and he tried to heroically kick down this door. And then we found out from this that doors were his bane, because he had like a 18 strength and rolled to try and kick down this door. Couldn't roll into the double digits to save his life. And then the wizard comes up and rolls a nat 20 to bust down
so
the
much
door.
right now.
And so, from that point on, he always would try to kick down doors.
Was
And for
able to
some
open
reason,
it.
his dice always chose that moment
Here, none
to
of us are
not
strong
roll
enough
in
to
double
open it.
digits, period. Like, one time I even made the challenge a 10.
Also, ironically,
And he
into
rolled a
room.
2
Hey, there's a
on his
sarcophagus.
dice.
Also, ironically, my
And
centaur.
so that was just kind of
Hey,
funny
there's a
there.
sarcophagus.
And
Good,
I
yeah.
one time in Shadowrun,
couldn't do
again
it.
with Thok, these two,
Into a room.
me
Hey,
and
there's a
another
sarcophagus.
character, we
Also,
both had one
ironically, my
charisma,
centaur.
one charisma dice.
Hey, there's a
And
sarcophagus
these gangers
in
come
here.
up
None of
to
are
us because
strong
we were
enough to
investigating
open it.
something.
Rolled a
And
strength check. Was able to
We
open
both just
it
look at each other and
into a
just go,
room.
well,
Hey, there's a
okay, let's
sarcophagus.
try and roll this to see if we can talk our way out of this. And I just roll a 1 on a d6, which is just a critical glitch. So they were like, looks like you're looking at pieces of shit over there. And I just said, well, I'll shit your face. And then we just proceeded to fight these guys. And me and the other guy were just like, well, we knew this was just going to fail spectacularly.
Yeah, I don't remember too many of the super horrible crits or fails for most of my characters. Most of them are so old I don't remember much about them. But I know that with the once a month game that I DM, it wasn't so much a fail, but just possibly their lack of knowledge in the world or whatever. Most of the characters got completely and utterly flummoxed by a very cold door that I had that was in this wizard's tower. And finally, my buddy Greg, who's a longtime gamer with me in my Thursday night group, he goes, "I just opened the door." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you opened the door." And everybody's like waiting to, for something to pop out, and I said, "You've basically walked into the fantasy freezer. You see casserole, you see legs of meat, you see this." They're like,
That's right.
it's just a cold storage." I'm like, it's the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
25 minutes of them trying to figure out whether or not they should open the door or not.
Yep.
Amazing. All right. Well, David threw one last question into chat, so I think we will use this as a good chance to have some fun with talking about some of our characters. David, would you like to ask the question that you threw into chat?
Sure. What's your favorite little quirk you've given a character? Like, just doesn't have to be a big character trait, just something that they have done
I have an answer
that
for
you
this.
love.
I
You
had
got one?
I do.
Yeah, I got one.
I had a
go
character
first,
that used to speak in malapropisms.
Hold on. Are those things like "that train has sailed"?
Yeah.
Yes, I love those.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him lay down in it.
Yep.
Yeah,
good.
that was a lot of fun.
I love those so
I used
much.
to keep literally a list of quotes and sayings and just mix them up all the time.
People in glass houses sink ships,
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? Loose lips change leopard spots. You know?
time.
Every time.
Every time, man.
We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
That's
Bertrand.
yes.
That's the one I say the most
Right.
in real life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Someone says, "What are we going to do about this?" I said, "We'll burn that bridge
We'll
when we
burn
get
that
to
bridge
it."
when we get to it. Yep.
Mine was a bard that just lied about everything in his past life, and that just even things that just happened. I had the bluff score to back it up, and he had an incredible dex, so I would just talk massive amounts of shit about being awesome at things and somehow pull it off. See, I told you and you didn't believe me. But yeah, that was just great, just being so outlandish and flamboyant about his accomplishments and what he could do,
Yeah.
and actually having the dice help me pull it off was just great.
I had an elven priest of Corellan Larathian who pretty much, even though he was basically a neutral good priest, pretty much hated everybody. He wouldn't mind healing them if it was like, okay, you've gotten sick or whatever, yeah, I'll lay hands on you. But if you were doing something stupid and got yourself hurt, like, oh, you fell off that mountain, I told you not to go climb it, but you were dumb enough to go do so. All right, fine, I'll heal you, but you're keeping that scar.
So basically, a parent.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was totally the parent of the group. Absolutely, because it was him, and then there was a halfling thief and a half-elf bard that was in this group that my wife was running, and it was constantly the halfling that was getting himself into trouble. The bard was constantly running off doing something stupid, and I can't believe how many times that he would just literally facepalm and sigh and wonder what else they were going to get into. And he eventually was killed because he got so fed up with the bickering in this magical house that they had summoned. I think the bard had gotten it through a scroll or something like that. And we're inside and we're being attacked by orcs, we thought. And he just got so tired of the bickering back and forth between these two that he opens up the door and just walks out and gets completely creamed by a giant with a boulder. And that was the end of him.
God.
I just hear the tired dad sighs every time he had to heal them too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his name was Tarathiel. Tarathiel. He was a great character. Just was just tired of everybody's crap. Yeah.
I think again, it's my Dragonborn. It is his level of arrogance.
Yeah.
And it it started to show in the spells that he casts. They become very him centric. So I think he summoned is it Guardian of Faith? I think it is. And if this giant kind of guardian came down and ready to protect them, and the moment he lifted up, it was just a big version of him. So it was literally
and that's
just he was being protected by himself. And
what you got to do, you have to follow that up by casting. I think it's like spirit guards or something like that.
Yeah.
The ones, because you've got the big version of yourself that I don't think that's concentration, but then you can get like the cloud of little ones, and it's just this guy all the way down, baby.
Well, I made the spirit guardians. They were like tiny when I first did it. They were kind of like tiny fireflies. And now it's tiny fireflies with him riding on their backs.
Riding on them. Oh my god.
See, so now you've got those two going. See if you can get somebody to cast mirror image on you as well.
It'd be great.
just like
It'd be fantastic.
army of all this guy.
Just an embarrassment.
And we've got so me and the other character in the group, the ranger. We have this rivalry where all we're doing is annoying each other. Everything is about how we can get one up on each other. We count how many times we have to save the other one's life, and it just gets fed back into it time after time. So I'm doing this because I know how much it annoys him. Part of it is because he thinks he's great, but part of it is because every time it's just going to annoy the ranger so much. It's brilliant. But yeah, he's slightly impressed with himself.
Yeah, I think so Jackie, my character from Telluride, just layered on a number of little quirks and bits going from the jump. Just never sits in chairs regular, refuses to hit on people when they're working. Although she's a very thirsty character, but it's just like, no, this person is working. We leave them alone. Disagreement that I have with the captain, but I think one of my favorites was. I have no clue how I arrived at this, but she wears, or season 1, she wears a flannel shirt and just somehow figures out a way to do it wrong. It's just like wearing his cape for a little while, has it wrapped around her neck like it's a scarf. Just like the entire spending the season figuring out like, okay, how do I explain this weird contraption and contortion that she has this thing in. I think actually if you go back to the Telluride Takeover, the episode that the cast did on Tales, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing one of my flannel shirts in a weird way that I had found out. Yeah, especially because it's like it's super fun to be able to have that contrast of here's this very abnormal way to be wearing a shirt, but then you can have that visual signifier of like, oh, it's getting serious. Yeah, Jackie unbuttons her shirt and puts it on normal.
Yeah.
That's how you know shit's gonna go down.
Nice.
You should try and figure out a way that, like after she's washed her hair, she can wrap it up like a towel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got bad news about that shirt, but that would have been a great idea.
I had a halfling rogue assassin who went down a lot. He I don't know how, but I kept going unconscious. I do know how. I've only ever played fighters, and he is a rogue, and that's not how
that
you're
would do
supposed
it. Yeah,
to play
that
a
would
rogue.
do it.
But every time he would go down, he'd get revived every time. awaken with a start of cobras. Just like he was having nightmares about cobras every time. Just every time. Scrimshaw would go down, come back up, cobras! And then at some point, we're playing another game, and someone else went down and came back up, and they were like, cobras! And I was like, no, TM, that's copyright. You can't take that.
I do that with my Dragonborn. Whenever he's knocked unconscious, he gets like a layer of static electricity. So anybody that kind of comes over and tries to revive him, they do get shocked.
Great. I've done that, and then I've given another character just a fear of seagulls. Just
That's
reason.
Fine. That's acceptable.
That's legit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We can
There's nothing
absolutely
wrong with
understand that. Yeah.
But just have we ever been to the ocean? No. He's just scared of them. He's read books about them.
Fear of the unknown.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Wait until he meets Canadian geese. That's it.
Oh man. No, he can take a goose. He'll take a goose.
He can take on the hissing winged cobra.
Yeah.
I would like that section to be taken out of context, where you're just shouting out, "He can take a goose!"
If somebody could go back and clip that, that would be fantastic. It can be the new tag at the end of the YouTube version of the stream. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, we are about at that point where we need to start wrapping up for the evening. So what I would like to do is go back around again and have everybody, again, just remind us of who you are and where we can find you on the internet and anything that you would like to share that you have going on. So we're going to go in the reverse order of when we started. So, David, we're going to start with you this time.
I am David Hallman. I'm the Fungeon Master of Good Better Quest. Is a very good podcast. I am also a Twitch guy, Stag_Horn. I like to paint minis and play video games and be in all around embarrassment. So if you'd like to come and have some good goofy times, that's what I'm here for. So come on down.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out for a second week in a row. I super appreciate you.
It's always fun. It's anytime. Always fun.
Always a good time. I love it. Zad.
Hi, yes. My name is Zad. You can find me on Twitter at ZadKielenGreen. That's ZADKIEL in green. I, again, play Jacqueline Blackjack Blanchard on Telluride. Maybe best to just find the link so that you're not Googling and finding the Telluride Board of Tourism or the Kia Telluride, the vehicle. You can blame Rabbit or thank Rabbit for that particular bits of confusion. Once again, season 2 of Telluride kind of coming down the pike. Season 1 out there if you want it. It's only 17 episodes. Excellent stuff. Also going to be doing a monthly Pathfinder stream with Shrike Tabletop. And then also on the cast for Tempest Multi's second season, which will be in Urban Shadows. Very much looking forward for those to be getting underway.
Nice. Sounds like you are very busy, so good luck.
Yeah, this is why we can't do. This is why I can't do another show.
This is why we can't have nice things. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's get one thing cleared off my plate, and then we'll see what we got.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for coming back and hanging out. It's always awesome to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Get a chance to chat. Tal.
So I'm Tal Woodblaze. You can find me mainly on Twitter at The Gamer's Rest. And at the moment, just lots of writing material for D&D, Monster of the Week, and a few others as well. And you can check out all my stuff on my Ko-fi store.
Awesome. Well, thank you for staying up super late
Thank you.
and
No,
even for letting your dogs say hi.
Just once.
My
pleasure.
other
Thank
I
you.
like that it's a thing now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Tom.
Hi, my name is Tom Nelson. I am the Midwest Miniature Guy. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Twitch, just about anywhere. You just Google Midwest Miniature Guy. Like the Highlander, I am the only one. So
It's good that you don't have to take anybody out to get that.
I don't have to lock
Not
any
anymore.
of
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
there we go.
anymore. Yeah, no, I've taken care of that. It's been 23 years. I've gone through them all.
Fantastic. I like it. Gareth.
Yeah, I'm Gareth. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, and I do have a Facebook page, Gareth Paints Minis. I just stream on Twitch, painting miniatures, talking just general nerd chat, stuff like that. Any movies we've watched, recent series, stuff like that, every Monday and Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And love being a guest here. Love to be back on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun getting to know you and getting to chat. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, and I am Gamer Mom Luna. This has been this week's episode of Tales from the Tavern. We're here almost every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, where me and 5 guests will chat TTRPG and all the weird little related things that come with it. So, I let's see, what do we have coming up? Wednesday night I'm gonna be in a one shot. I think that's on DM Studios. We're playing the One Ring. So that should be a good time. That's gonna be me and Hope from Hope for TTRPGs and a couple other really great people. So that should be fun. And then we'll be back again next Sunday. Taking off the week of the 4th of July, the weekend of the 4th of July, because it's 4th of July weekend, and I fully expect that I will not be home that night. So, so there's that, and then also coming up the week after that, the weekend of July 8th through the 10th is going to be the 2nd annual Extra Life Charity Stream Weekend Extravaganza. It's exactly what it sounds like. It is 24 hours of TTRPG content spread out over 3 days, starting Friday night the 8th with a one-shot, a 5e one-shot that's DM'd by Saint of Demons, who is the DM for Discount Dungeons. Saturday there will be another 3 streams, one that will be DM'd by Matt Dungeon Glitch, and then there will be let's see, what's the next one? Esper Genesis that afternoon, and then Star Shinobi is DMing a 5e game Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon we will have an Aether and Steamworks game DM'd by the system creator Ty Burris, and we will wrap the whole thing up with another episode of Tales from the Tavern. So got a lot coming up here, and hope you will swing by and check that out. Last year we raised about $1,000 for Extra Life during the course of the weekend, so it would be really great to break that goal again this year. So keep an eye out. The link for donating will be going out soon if you can't make it for that weekend to check out the streams, but would love to have you stop by and say hi to any and all of the casts that you get a chance to swing in and say hi. It's going to be right here on this channel. So that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Let's see. Where are we gonna go? Who's going? Tom, I think you have a stream coming up after this, right?
I do have a stream coming up after this. I am going to be painting. I'll show you guys again. This lovely Dragon King from Kingdom Death Monster. I'm going to be continue working on this. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll have my stream up and running.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that us 3 mini painters should do a little contest. We'll all pick the same mini and paint it.
Oh, that would be super
Okay,
fun.
all right, I'm down.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Yep.
I can pretend to compete. Sure.
I would love to see that. I think that would be fantastic. So keep us posted on when
friendly
you do that.
competition.
That
It's
would
fun
be
to do
awesome.
every once in a while. So
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, normally we would wrap up with a raid, but because Tom's going to be going live, I'm just going to end the stream so that you all can go over and check out his channel after this, and we will catch
Much
you all
appreciated.
next Sunday night. Have a great evening, everybody.
I should
thanks,
go.
folks.
Night.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Tavern. You can catch this podcast recorded live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/GamerMomLuna. All of our questions come directly from chat, so we never really know what to expect when we go live. If you ever have a question or would like to add something to the conversation, feel free to reach out on Twitter at GamerMomLuna and use the hashtag TFTT. You may just get to hear it answered. Thanks so much.
I should go.